is retreating with special colours. So that is retreating. You can have is at the end, but I don't know how the parsing would work. You could have SI at the beginning to be is retreating. Does that mean the definition is queen? So SI and then special colours? Special can be S. Could be this S. Colours go in as 4 letters like hues. That's not really making a word, is it? Oh, unless queen is all retreating. So if it's SI, and then what do we get? Special colours. Or no, special can be an S. Colours beginning with SI. Siennas. That's a colour. It's kind of a pigment colour. Oh, we've got G. Oh no, but no. But Anne was the name of a queen. So hold on. So if you do Anne backwards and then is backwards as well, so you get Sienna, and then special gives you the last S. That works. So I think the only explanation is that we finally have a clash. Yeah, I don't mind that. And ageist was a regular clue, and so was this, so we're allowed to have a clash here, so I remember that was a rule. Okay, so we're saying SIEN. I'm going to write both of them in, so it goes across first and then down, so NG, and then we had an A. Alright, we've actually got one of the clashes, we need 6 more of them. There's not a lot of space left for them. Let's see. This is a long one here. We haven't actually looked at that. 13. EFT. Mostly supported by stylus, note, card, or earlier coin. 2 words. This is kind of complicated. Could be new. EFT could have a misprint, maybe oft, ent, weird, mostly supported by stylus. Stylus could be pen. We'd need a clash, or not if pen is here. And then, oh, none of them look right. What was 34? ME. No, that should be NY. I've written that in backwards. That's a good thing I spotted that. Yeah. Don't know why I did that. I'm sure you're all screaming at the screens. So, if that was pen, it could be penny. There was something about coins in there, wasn't there? Or earlier coin. So if there's something penny. So do we have another one of our like do re mi notes? Pen, but then 9 isn't that, unless there's a clash. And card or earlier. What is going on there? If there's a new penny fits. So the pen, so this thing is being supported by pen. New. Why would EFT mostly be new? No, it's not EFT. Okay, they have been cheeky there. An eft is a word for a newt. That is another one that comes up in crosswords. So we have newt haven't actually worked out this whole clue yet, but newt without the T is most effed mostly, and then you've got the stylus. This must be new penny, but so note I think can be N, and card. Ooh, card could be yard. It's a misprint. New penny. I just checked the definition, but like, where's a new penny? Let's go to penny. So where are we told? So now originally new penny. Okay, so what they mean by earlier in the clue. Or earlier coin. So what we did there was we made card yard. So C3 goes to 25, so we need to go 6 places forward to 9. We get an I. Let me revisit 12 across because we've just got another letter from it. One lanky trunk admits part of hammer with head at far end. Is there a clash? Beanpole. You just get enough letters, eventually the word's going to jump out, and that is someone that's lanky. So one lanky is beanpole. How on earth does this work? A peen. That does ring a bell. I think that's our part of a hammer. Maybe. Yeah, there it is. The end of a hammerhead opposite the hammering face. Yeah, it's the bit you pull nails out with. Okay, so if we take peen and move its head to the end, we get EAMP. And that is going inside bolt? Is that a trunk? Let's check this one. Yep, trunk of a tree. Nice. That was actually not actually that complicated. Just needed some slightly obscure vocab, I guess. What do I like? Oh, we've got so much of 31 across. Okay, so yeah, we needed something repeating in 31, and that does seem to be happening. Sort of. Repeatedly returned granular deposit like alpha particles. So if this was to be repeating, Evson, EV and N. So is it even with a clash? Is even a word? It is a word denoting nuclei in which there are an even number of protons and neutrons. And yeah, alpha particles have, I think, 2 of both, if I'm not mistaken. It's a helium nucleus. So that, okay, so going backwards is neve, and I think that's a kind of snow, right? Neve, I guess it is. Yeah, granular snow, very nice. So we have, what do we have? Even, and then we need to put in this clash. So E and then S. So there's our second clash. Alright, that's good. What do I want to look at? What's down the left here? Sony raised. Sony's got to have a misprint, because like, what could that mean as a company? Like, that's got to have a misprint. I'm just saying that straight away. Raised second coin. Second can be S. Coin, or lots of coins. Not denarius, but another. We're raising a coin. Maybe? No, raising the S coin? What can Sony go to? Pony? Song? Raised second coin. So the second could be S. No, but feels like the S has to go after something, right? or it's the end of something that gets raised. As in the beginning, so it ends up at the end of something. So there's an S at the end. Something raised that comes from Sony and then an S. Not Denarius, but another. Denarius is... I think Denarius is D, right? Because that's where we get that old-fashioned D for penny from. So does this mean removing a D from something? You can have dimes going upwards. That has a D in it. So not so semi. Then with another S. Is it S dimes? No, but coin is singular. So where's this S come from? Oh, okay. So Sony has to give us that. Sony needs to become sons, and that can be indicated S. I guess, I don't know, in some context it must be used to say how many sons someone has. I don't know why. Semis, not semis, I think it's semis. Pretty sure I've seen that before be a coin. Semis, a bronze coin of the ancient Roman Republic. Half an as, that's it. Yeah, so it was... What was it? It was... What was the S from? Second, dimes, not denarius, so S-I-M-E. And we had sons before that, so semis, and that gets us a different coin. So Y goes to S. That is 20 steps. So we need to go 10 steps, we get an I. Cool. It's 23 down. Laboured furiously. Without base. Yeah, base could be B, so I like that. For tuneful embellishment. So, yeah, it's got to be an anagram of laboured with the B removed. To get tuneful embellishment. Oh, hold on, we've got a T at the beginning. I mean, that could just be a clash, because this really feels like it's got to pass this way. It's like really glaring. Stare at it for a sec. So not like double, nothing to do with double, because I need to remove the B. If the O actually is there as the second letter, what could we be doing? What could be the first letter? So it could be D, R. Roulade is somewhere in the back of my mind. I think has something to do with music. I can make that from the anagram. There we go, melodic embellishment. So, this was a clash. So let's do that. So this is T and R. Then we have roulade. 23. How many is that? 3 clashes. These should be spelling something. Not sure what that's going to be. Actually, what we could do is look at what we've got from these misprints, these letters that have come from our misprints and corrections. So we've got quite a few. So this should be a territory, was it, or a region? Because I was looking at this and I was thinking this is like we're spelling terrain. Right. So I was just going back through these in my head. This one doesn't look right. I went C to Y. That was 22 steps. So I need to go 11. It gets me an N. Why did I write an I? Maybe I was already thinking about terrain going here. I must have just written it without actually thinking. I can't even remember doing it. That's really stupid. There should be an N. But that means it's not terrain. What is it? So, gonna have to have a vowel in here, right? Terran, it's like relating to the earth. Terran. Oh, this does remind me of something, and it's Latin that I'm thinking of. Can't remember the exact conjugation of it, but I think that we have something. If I just start typing it, hopefully it'll just come up in the dictionary. So terra, then it's like N. Terra nullius. Is that what after? Is that like a no man's land? That's what I was thinking of. Land that is not part of the sovereign territory of any country. That could be what we're dealing with here. Terra nullius. That would fit. Right, so a thematic region and its description. So terra nullius. So we're looking for a terra nullius, so a land that no one claims. I have heard of some of these, and there's one or two quite famous ones. And these letters do ring a bell for one of them. In Africa, can't remember exactly what its name is, but I've totally heard of this. So this is definitely terra nullius. So we've broken part of the theme there. Thinking about these letters again because they need to spell something read row by row, and I'm just getting a bit concerned because you've got TR and then the next letter will come from the across clue in the next clash, but we need a vowel surely. So maybe it comes from owlets. Or from psi, you get the I there. So an I with an E, and then we've got this NG, possibly. So I'm thinking triangle as a word. So this was meant to spell out an associated thematic region that causes a disagreement. But then what's this ES? Because what could you have the TR something NGES? I'm suspicious about. The issue is that we're thinking about a region, So something triangle makes sense to me. But this ES doesn't, because we would need to have an LE somewhere. Maybe coming from in here, or it could be somewhere later. But you wouldn't have triangle something, it would be something triangle. So it's definitely right. So we had even, Nisei. I'm not sure about this. Just reading 22 again. The definition of dare of overseas parentage. I guess that could be the singular they, but it's just what it could mean. What if this was Niseis? Have I spelled it wrong? Is there a double S or a single S in Nisei? No, that's wrong. That's not how it's spelled. There's one S. So it is plural. Oh, I screwed that up. Okay, it's good I'm catching these mistakes. So, hold on, let me rub that stuff out. Oof. Little error strewn. Little with errors, this attempt. Okay, so the E does go, it's not clash. And then we have Niseis like that. Okay, I'm glad I spotted that, because it really could have created some confusion later. So we think the U for Terranilius kind of has to come in here from Broken Ulna and Log on Foot. So we could look at some possible misprints that would give us a U. You have to do kind of the halfway thing, which is a bit of a pain. We don't have to do that just yet. No, we're going to pause for a moment, and I will be back in an instant for you, a few minutes for me. Okay, so let's look at another clue. 24 down, we've got Apostolic Cad. That could be a misprint. Maybe Bishop. Bishop is B, removed from C. So, what are we saying here? We're removing a B from something. We're removing a B from the C, somehow? Or from the sea, could that be like Pacific? That would need a clash. Apostolic. Cad, maybe. Bishop. Moved from the sea. Cad. It's a weird word. I want this to be a misprint. Ooh, so we've got PE. Could be cat. Because a pet is maybe a cat. How do we feel about that? So if we went pet. Apostolic, so there is definitely a word about relating to Peter the Apostle. Can't think what the ending on that is. So petic, petial. So we need a word for C and remove a B. It's pet. If I just start searching pet, will it hopefully just come up in the dictionary? There are quite a lot of words. Something with Peter. These aren't the word I'm thinking of. Sometimes you can just flick through the dictionary and see what comes up. Petrarch is a different thing. Ooh. Petrine, is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah. Later on, or associated with Peter. Brine. Brine. The sea can be brine. So remove the. Oop, no, don't put the B in. Remove the B from brine. You get Petrine. So yeah, the cat thing was correct. So D goes to a T. 4 goes to 20, so we need to go 8 steps forward. That gets an L. We wanted that for Nullius. Great. Let's look at this one. We have the I, which good thing we didn't try this one before because we would have had the wrong letter there. Drunken Laird clenches fist, missing all of his festival. Drunken Laird. This looks like definitely seems to be an anagram of laird happening. Clenches fist, so maybe just holding a word meaning fist. Missing all of his festivals, so probably a festival. Missing all of his, I'm not sure about. Okay, so we've got I something AL, so if we are dealing with laird, then you've probably got an R or a D next. Looking at 30 down, it could be either. D feels more likely, so I might just look in the dictionary to see what appears. IDAL, anything? IDAL. That fits. Oh, that's like, yeah, Eid al-Fitr. Yeah, that's the end of Ramadan, right? On the first day after Ramadan. That is a festival. Does this make sense? Well, it needs fist, so hold on. So we've got our laird like that, and then we're putting fit inside it, not fist. So Drunken Laird clenches fist, missing all of his. But we've removed an S. Why is all of his S? Or are we saying there's a misprint? Struggling with that. Can you somehow make it be the end of his? Which is an S, I guess? Can't really see how. Or is his referring to the laird, which would be a Scottish, that's a Scottish landowner. So maybe we're dealing with a Scots word. Then why would that be S? This is tricky. Is there a Scots definition for the letter S? It seems hard to see how. None of these say Scots. What about the other variants? Yeah, that's just the possessive definition. Yeah, I don't know. I'll come back to that. I feel like there should be a misprint, but I can't see what it is. Yeah. Okay. Let's just look somewhere else. What about this 30 down then? We just got this D. So we've got supply, or sometimes that is supply, meaning an anagram indicator. Region and European Union from the south. So EU from the south can mean upwards in a down clue. So something EU or UE undue. So we need region to be something ND. End? That's a region, like, yeah. Can't think of a context, but I think an end, yeah, an end of the city or whatever, it's a region. I think that works. So is endu? Does that mean supply? It does, so... Okay, so that just works. Yep, simple enough. Let's try this bottom corner. Stiff cycling produces firmer giants. Ah, you know what? I bet firmer is former, because that is like a classic way of indicating that a word is archaic or obsolete. So I think we're cycling a word meaning stiff, and that gets us an archaic word for giants or an obsolete word. I have seen an obsolete word for giants, but I have this vague memory of it being like several years ago that I saw this word in Chambers. Beginning with E. So cycling usually means you're moving a letter to the end or to the beginning from the other end. So if we started with a word for stiff and moved the first letter to the end, so something E maybe? Or of course it could be the other way, so a word that starts here, then this E, and has an E at the end, which has been moved to the beginning, the other direction of cycling, meaning stiff. Think about that. Just think about like what this letter could be if it's the first letter, or this letter if it's the first letter. Tense works, isn't it? If we went T-E-N-S-E, that's stiff. So you get etends. I think that sounds right from what I remember. Etends. There we go, archaic word for giant. So yeah, tense, cycled. And so this was as I expected, an I going to an O, 9 goes to 15, so we need to go to 12, we get an L. This name is really familiar. I'm pretty sure it's the place I'm thinking of in Africa. It's got like an Arabic sounding name, I can't quite think of what the other letters are. To be honest, we probably could start leveraging Google and just look up the famous terras nullii. Might revisit that idea if we're still struggling with especially this misprint, so it would help us there. Let's look for some other clues first though. So 38 across, we've got all of the checking letters we can get. Master previously near to boy. DA, so like master could be like M, MA. I don't know, near can be like by. Master previously, so it could be an archaic word for master. Near to boy. Boy. Boy's like lad, but I was thinking if you put somehow that gets up backwards, but it's not really forming a word. Unless it's previously near, so an old word for near. So I'm just thinking of the word nigh, but obviously it doesn't fit. But there is a possibility here. If NY, that is an obsolete spelling of Nye. I think this might be the name Danny, which is a boy's name. So the definition is just boy. So if it's Nye. Oh, hold on. If master to be Dan, that's a martial arts thing. Let's just see how they define it. Yeah, so a level of proficiency or a person who has gained such a level. Because that is, isn't it? You say they're like a 5th Dan black belt or something like that. So yeah, that works. Let's see. It's beer something, isn't it? Beer. I think at this point, because I have figured out what that theme is. I think. Let's if I can find the browser. So let me see. I'll search like. So let's try Terra. Lilius. It's beer something or beer tea. Beer Tawil is what comes up. Beer Tawil, area of land on the border between Egypt and Sudan. I think this is what I was thinking of. This is claimed by neither country. So it is Terra Nullius. Together with the neighbouring Halayib Triangle, it is sometimes called the Bisbit Triangle. Oh, we were thinking about triangle as well. Okay, pieces are coming together here. So beer Tawil. So we want an R to come from somewhere. So we thought one of these would have a misprint. I kind of thought both of them might, but I guess not. So we've got T-A. So this needs to give us our W, I think. So missing all, I felt like all of his had to somehow have a misprint to lead to an S. So what letter could give a W? A can't give a W. The furthest you can move to the letter that we get in beer, like beer to and stuff, is 13. That's if you're making 26 steps. Oh no, but 26 steps will take you back to where you started. So actually 12, I think, is the furthest you can go. So A can't get us there. L could. And that would mean we'd need to go another 11 steps. You have to turn an L into an H. Okay, that seems a bit unlikely, but we'll just check if these are words. So AHL is a word. Add hunc locum at this place. I don't know what to do with that. ALH, is that something? No. Okay, that didn't work. Other options. Of is probably not doing it, but I'll check. You need an E to get EF. No, I don't see anything you can do with that. F is too early in the alphabet. H is too early in the alphabet. So is I. S4, so you'd go to an A, so HIA. It doesn't make sense really. Oh, here's an option I haven't thought about. What if we're not trying to remove an S? What if the S in fist isn't meant to be an S? What would that do? So that would be fiat. So we just said S would go to A to give us a W. So all of his. So what about A? If that is done as a contraction, that is Scottish and it means all. So all of his is a Scotsman's all. It could be A. Removing the A from Fiat. Okay, that was really confusing, but that is how this works, right? Okay. So it was this S which becomes an A, and that gives us W. Okay, that confusion has passed. Nice. Oh yeah, so we saw something about something triangle. So that feeling was correct. So we need an I from an across clue. So it could be here. It's not this one because it doesn't clash with Amir. And it's not this one because it doesn't clash with Beehive. So it is, I think it has to be this one, which then means that 25 down, we need IA. So if this is right, then 25 down begins with an A, and have we even looked at 25 down? We haven't. Worms evolved air sacs. Well, this just looks like an anagram of air sacs. But, yeah, we've got a lot of the right letters already. So if it's AS, you've got an R and S, so we've got a CIA left. So Asiarchs, Asicras, doesn't sound like much. Asacris, Asax, no. So C going after the S is Iscaris. That sounds like a real word. Or Iscaris. Iscaris? This is it singular or plural? I think singular, just worm. Iscaris? No. Oh no, sorry, it's As that we wanted. So have I got the right letters there? Yes, because there were two A's. So Ascaris? That's a word. It's a nematode. Okay, that is a worm. So yeah, that anagram. Ultimately straightforward when you've got so many letters already. So this becomes IA, and we're getting towards our triangle. And we said it was Iscaris. That is 25. No, Ascaris. I keep saying Iscaris. Okay. Which means we want another clash to be an across L and a down E to give us LE. Okay, we have a down E here, so this could be an L. It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. I've kind of ruled out most places. In theory, it could be here. But let's consider this 30 across, because if it's there, then this would have to begin with L. Cuckoo born in endless channel. It's LU. But we can have lunatic for cuckoo. So how would that work? I think NAT is an abbreviation for born. Like natal or whatever, I don't know what it stands for exactly. NAT, short for natus, born. So, I think the answer's right. How does the rest of this work? So, we do have the clash that we wanted. So, LE. So, lunatic. So, we've got NAT inside LUIC, Luic. Endless channel. Can you add something on the end of that to make a channel? No, you can add something on both ends to make a channel. Sluice. That is a kind of channel. So, yeah, make sluice endless, take its ends off, get Luic. Yeah. Yeah, that works. So we have our triangle. It was. I can't remember what the name of the triangle was. Halaib. HALAIB. And that will take us to 7 pairs of letters. So we need an HA, LA and an IB somewhere before triangle in the grid. Okay. What might we have here? So going on with 21. This has to have a clash in this. This is madness here. So this is just with 4 triangles. So if you have a clash here, you would need so IB would need a B going down. So you could have IB here. So an I going across. Sale of shares in farmland, it makes piles. Sale of shares could be an IPO, an initial public offering. If you had IPO, but then APOA, I mean, I'll check it, that doesn't feel like a word. AEI? No words begin with that. So, if you had another clash, because the clash before IB is LA, and we have the A, so you would get LEIPOA. Is this a word? LEIPO. It is a word. So we've got our 2 clashes, and this is a kind of bird. Australian mound birds. It makes piles. I guess mound birds make mounds. Alright, so we've already got 2 of those clashes we needed. So we've got what was it? L and A, I've already forgotten. And it was I, B, actually cross goes first. Yeah, Laib. And that was IPO. So we get, so IPO was in, what was it in? L, E, A. Oh, Lee. Yeah, Lee is a meadow. Yeah. Okay, nice. What's at the top here? I don't think we've looked at this one. Flowers, sometimes flowers, sometimes that means rivers, it's kind of a common trick. In large part of scent producer. Ooh. What's the other clash I need? I should probably be aware of that. So we need HA. I'll just write it here actually for your benefit. It's halide, if you can read that. Triangle. So HA, so you need H across, A down. So we do have an A down here. And here, and here. Okay, so those seem to be the possible spots. You're not going to have an A down here. Or you could have an A down here with an H going across. Okay, a few places it can go. We were looking at 4 across, weren't we? So this is a possible place for a clash, with it being an H. Potentially flowers or flowers in large parts of scent producer. Okay. Okay, so flowers or flowers, maybe they're going inside large part. I'm thinking large could be like mega going around the outside. If this is an H, be much. Mega, much. It feels like it's a scent producer, but that could be a lot of things. It could be some artificial thing, it could be a biological thing. If it's much, you can get the word pouch at the end, and it occurs to me that Po is a river, sort of flower in this case. So could that work? Something pouch? We're told plural though, flowers. So could you get another river for it? Scent producer. Musk is scent. And the Usk is a river. Somewhere, I can't remember where that is. Definitely a river though. So hold on, so Usk Poe in much would give Musk pouch. That sounds a lot like something that could be the producer of an animal's scent. If I type it correctly. Yeah. So musk pouch is a musk gland, yeah. So it is a producer of musk, so a scent producer. Sweet. Oh, and that actually was the clash, so I think we've got all the clashes then. So, we are very close to completing this. So HA, let's try and get the last few clues in. I think we've got all the clashes now. And we need the R to come from this, and it was an I to come from either 37 or 39. Let's try and get these. I want to understand what's going on with 14 here. Can we get 15 down? So we wanted, because 15 we wanted to get a U. Where can we get misprint? So you can have T going into a V. Doesn't look possible. An S going to a W. Don't see anywhere I can do that. An R going to an X sounds unlikely. No, it doesn't happen anywhere. A Q going to a Y. There's no Q, I don't think. P going to a Z. There's no P. An O going to an A. Okay, you could do that. You could have lag. Well, that could be an. That would give us our U. Let's try that. So broken ulnar. Oh, this could still be the anagram then, right? Because we have. Because we've got two A's. Actually, I quite like that. A-N-L-A, and the F can still be from foot. So we need an L, a G, and a U. This looks like a word I don't know. Seems like this letter could only be the U if this is right. So Langlauf? That's the only way the letters could really plausibly fit together. Yeah, okay, good, it is right. It's cross-country skiing. What language is that? Maybe German? Okay, Langlauf. You learn something every day. So that this O became an A and gave us a U. Should we want it? Oh, so 14 across is an L here. Oh, latitude. I think latitude can just be L. I think it can definitely be lat, but I think, can it be L? Yes, it can. Okay, so what if the L is replacing the N in Panama? So is Palama a word? Yeah. The webbing of a waterbird's foot. So latitude for N. Part of diver. A waterbird is a diver. Let's check this gives us what we want. So N to V is 14 to 22. So 4 letters are, that's what we wanted. So that's what it is. So I think it's the same Republic has latitude for new, giving us Palama, and that actually completes 6 down. Keps. I don't know what Keps is. Let's just look up what Keps means. It's Scottish to catch. So what is the actual clue? Have we even looked at this? I don't think we've even looked at this one before. Boys' traps. So it could be traps. Are banned by northern states. So maybe this needs to change into something that's suggests Scotland. or maybe just northern. We need an E, right? If there's a misprint. So let's say the B had to give us an E. So that's 3 steps. Another 3 steps is H. Hoy. Hoy rings a bell. I'm going to double check. That is quite likely in Scotland. So that's Hoy, Scotland. Ugh, bloody cookie thing. Yeah, I thought so. Hoy's an island in Scotland. So that can give us the clue we wanted. So if B becomes H, yeah, we get an E. Hoy's traps are banned by Northern state. There's no Northern like American state that has anything like this. Could Northern mean going upwards? Speak is can go upwards. R is a unit of measurement, and A, the letter A, represents it. That comes up somewhat often. So if A, as in R, is removed from speak, that is Northern state, state as in say something, yeah, we get kept. What have we not looked at? 37 of course. Haven't looked at this one yet. Somehow. Dews filling clouds centers. Okay. Dews filling clouds. Clouds. So it just seems like something going inside clouds. Oh, and we still need a misprint that gives us an I. Centers. I think like hearts, but we don't want any more clashes, so not hearts. Midsts. It's impossible to say. Is centers and okay, so mists or mist be clouds or cloud or clouds like with the S, so that's maybe not being used as a link word. Maybe it's mists with an S, but then we need a D to go inside that from dews. Well, maybe that comes from a misprint, so we need an I, so the D is probably staying because we want a word that gives us D, but let's just check. So if D gives us an I, it's 5 steps, so another 5 steps would be an N. News. I don't think that can give us a D. Let's try some other stuff. If E becomes an I, then it becomes an M. It's not a word. W becomes an I, or not becomes an I, but gives us an I. That's 12 steps. So we'd go to 21, which would be a U. Deus. Deus, as in God in Latin, that may well abbreviate to D. Wait, no, I don't want to search Deus, I want to just look at D and look at things it can mean. Is it in here? There we go, Deus, Latin, God. So that works. So W becomes U, and that gives us an I, and we have a D inside mists, and that is sorted. Very nice. What's this one at the bottom? 39. Light helmet upon head of engineer in uniform. Oof, this weird looking word, ending in EE. Sure what to do with this. Uniform tends to be U, but how can something be in uniform if that's just a U? Oh, I didn't notice this was 2 words. It doesn't really help me much. Engineer could be an anagram indicator, but head of engineer could just be E. Ooh, this is one that's a bit tough. We've got 3 unchecked letters in it. Let's just look at 35. Maybe that will help us. So 35, nor anything like old women unclothed. Oh, we still need a misprint, so we need to get an S. Not anything like feels possible, so what would that do it? So T, no, R going to T, 2 letters. So, right, so we only go 1 letter, we get an S, which is what we wanted. So that could be it, so not anything like. Neh. Oh, I don't know. Oh, or not anything could be nil. Like old women unclothed. So unclothed would be removing the first and last letters of. Is there a word meaning old women that is something NIL something? So, or it's like old women. This is weird. So something probably NILE. I think I might just look up a couple of possibilities. So anile. Okay, got it on the first go. Just went because I was going to go through the alphabet, but possible letters, but it was just the A. So yeah, anile means old womanish. That is a new one to me. So yeah, so you get nil when you take those off. So the R goes to a T, gives us the S, and I think we're finished with misprints. Okay, so we've got an L now in 39, and that's all we're going to get. So light. Can light be soul? That's sun. Maybe? Helmet though. Feels like light helmet should be the definition. Maybe light, but I don't know what helmet would do in the wordplay. Upon. Head of engineer could be on the E's. In uniform? Where's the T bit coming from? The helmet atop? Top of something? Not really. Is upon atop? This is definitely going to be a word I've not heard of. Okay, so if uniform is not U, if it's a word that's around the outside. So if we had head of engineer, and then we had something with an E to be uniform. S? Soul? Does soul mean uniform? I mean, it can mean like singular. Does that mean uniform? Here we go. Soul. Yeah, 8th definition is uniform, so that's quite promising. So this is S-O-L-E. This is meaning nothing to me. Let's look at soul in the dictionary, S-O-L, and see what words exist. Oh, we've got solar helmet. That's not what this is though. Solar helmet. Okay, but it is a. So is solar what the helmet is? Well, what's the actual answer? Just looking at words with. Because like, if it ends in EE, we should be able to spot that. Oh. Yeah, that fits. Solatopy. Oh, it actually came up before, but I didn't notice it. So this is Solatopy, is a sun helmet made of solar pith. Ah, okay. So hold on. So that sounds like a light helmet then. So hold on, if we put that in. So if uniform was soul. Okay, yeah, a top. I thought of that and then I kind of dismissed it. A top E, so upon head of engineer in soul. Okay, that does work. Awesome. Have we got anything left? Oh, we do. 5 down. Oh, I haven't even looked at this one either. Shown higher, half increased, fourfold. Shown. I mean, we need 1 letter. How hard can this be? Shown higher, half increased, fourfold. Shown. Is it kind of lead? Upled? Upled? That's shown higher? Is that... I mean, what else could this... What else could even go in here? Upled? That is a word. To lead up. So... yeah, I guess to show someone is to lead them. So to lead up, upled, shown higher. Half increased fourfold. Quadrupled. So increased fourfold is quadrupled. Half of that word, so 5 of the 10 letters, the last 5 is just oopled, which is upled. Okay, that's pretty nice. And that's actually the entire grid. So we've got an end game to do here. So yeah, so those clashes spell out thematic region, the cause of a disagreement. So what was the relevance of the triangle? The highlighted triangle is claimed by both and beta will by neither. Okay, so... oh, we had that, is it? We have to replace the clashes with dots. Let's do that. There's one there. I'll just rub them out first, and then I'll just put a dot in each of them. Right here. One here. One here. One here. Okay. So let's do a dot like this, and then I know we have to draw lines. I'm going to change colour for that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what we're doing? Join the dots with one horizontal line and 4 straight segments. Do we have a map? That's not good enough. I think we need the whole triangle. This. Or, wait, no, I haven't actually searched the right thing. Can I search beta will? Do I get a good map? Oh, there we go. So, beta will. So, just gonna go black. So, okay. So it looks like you need a straight line going across here. Because then I can see that beta will looks like this. So that's that, and then so that's 3 line segments. So the 4th line segment goes to here. So that'll be creating the triangle. So I guess we're not going into detail. So we're just doing that, and then there's beta will, and there's a triangle. I think this is what we want. Show a diagram of the theme, so we've done that, and highlight the 5-letter names of 2 further thematic regions. Okay. So is this going to be like 2 completely different, like Terra's Nullius? Or just trying to change my brush into a highlighter, see how that works. Let's just scan through the grid a bit and see if anything jumps out. I'm not really sure what they're going to want. Do I need to actually go and look up more of these kinds of territories? Oh no, okay, it might be simpler than that. Because I've seen straight away we've got Egypt here. So, do we have Sudan somewhere below the border? We do. Okay, so those are our 5-letter things. Does this highlighting work? Sort of. Okay, and so we highlighted Sudan and Egypt. And that's it. Okay, so we've made a map of beta will and the Halayib triangle of Egypt and Sudan. I think that is a completed puzzle. Yeah, that was pretty neat. That was pretty easy as far as listeners go. I kind of was able to breeze through a lot of that. yeah, but if you enjoyed that, please like and subscribe, comment if you think I did anything really stupid, or if you got stuck on something and you thought something was a really neat idea but the setter put in there. Comments really help with the algorithm and getting the channel out there to more viewers, so I really appreciate it. And more than anything, just come back next time for our next crossword videos. We'll probably be going back to some more like daily times crosswords. And apart from that, enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for watching.